Welcome to a new edition of South Sound Business Report, today focusing on women of influence. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Jeff Rounce. Thanks for being with us. And thank you again to Puget Sound Energy for its long-term financial support of this program. On today's episode, we will introduce to you 7 remarkable women, each of whom was named a 2012 Woman of Influence. Each was featured at a recent Business Examiner Media Group event held at Clover Park Technical College in Lakewood, where more than 200 guests celebrated their accomplishments. Included in this year's honorees are a professional with more than 30 years of service and a bright younger member of the United States Navy who leads her shipmates in connecting to neighbors around their home port. But before we meet these remarkable women of influence, I've asked Steve Maxwell, president of the South Puget Sound region for KeyBank, to offer some perspective on the importance of female leadership.
You bet. Thanks, Jeff. Women play an important role, whether that be in business, in the communities, in society, social services, in regard to leadership. And increasing diversity, gender diversity in leadership, brings along with it perspective and background that can add to the effectiveness of leadership. And we live in an increasingly diverse world, whether that be in our client base, our customers, communities, those we interact with. So the better we reflect those constituencies, the more effective we can be.
Over the years, have you observed any difference in the manner of leadership between men and women?
Well, I think we'd all agree there's some real differences between men and women, and how we think is one of those. There's scientific studies that would back that up. But who we are as a man or a woman, our experience and our perspectives, all that folds into who we are as leaders. I would never say there's a general linkage between gender and leadership effectiveness. Rather, I think leadership effectiveness is more about your vision, your values, your passion, and your skills.
KeyBank, I know, has a particular interest in a program called Key for Women. From the bank's perspective, why is that?
Yeah, absolutely. We are, of the top 20 banks in the country, of which we are one, we're the only one who has a woman as our chief executive officer. And that's something we're very proud of. The Key for Women program actually predates Beth Mooney's appointment to the CEO role. She's been in that role about 15 months, but we've had this program a number of years. And really it's a program, a free service set up for our clients, our women-owned business clients, and providing them customized solutions, educational opportunities, networking, and access to capital. Since 2005, in fact, on the theme of access to capital, we have loaned to women-owned businesses over $6 billion. And given the economic challenges we've faced over that time, that's something we're very proud of.
Very good. Thank you, Steve Maxwell.
Thank you, Jeff.
Let's move ahead and meet the first 2012 Woman of Influence in this video vignette produced by ACT Video Productions of Fife. She is Tanya Andrews, Executive Director of the Children's Museum of Tacoma.
The word influence has so many different meanings. It sometimes means that you're telling people what to do, you're influencing their opinion. In other ways, it's a quiet nudge. And my hope is that I can be the more quiet nudge, or the one who's really learning about what's happening in our community and helping people influence their own decisions. Community service was a really important part of my upbringing. My mom was an active volunteer, so I remember volunteering at a very young age, from picking up garbage along the side of the road with my 4-H troop to helping younger children accomplish some of their goals. I've chosen to get involved in things that really embrace the possibilities of early childhood and that wonderful innocence and honesty that children bring to the table. How can we capture that and replicate it as adults? Because as adults, we've lost that. I've always loved museums. So when a position became open at the Children's Museum of Tacoma, a community that my husband now and I fell in love with, I had to grab it. And I don't feel like I work a day in my life. Sometimes I feel guilty cashing my paycheck because working at the Children's Museum is just such a joy. One of the biggest compliments we've gotten about the new museum is that it is very intentional. It's about gross motor, it's about cognitive development, it's about social emotional development. So everything from the color palette to the way the museum flows to the interactives like the water area is designed to cater to our audience, which is young children ages 8 and under, and the adults who love and care for them. Children learn through their play, and it's a natural, effective process. The freedom that our museum provides children is to connect with the playscapes when and where they want to, and to take it where they want it to go. So it's also about expression of creativity, which we think is really important. I don't want to be seen as someone who's telling people what to do, but rather being generative with ideas and solutions.
Tanya worked at the museum when I joined the board of the Children's Museum, and I happened to have been president of the board when Tanya was hired as executive director. And that was a very long time ago now. And I could not be prouder of the way that Tanya has grown into that job and has just made such an impression and so many changes in the museum.
I really like to think of Tanya's key skills as imagination and leadership. I think a thing that Tacoma has needed for years that Jane Russell was a heavy supporter of was collaboration among nonprofits. With our opening of our brand new location in the United Way building, a plan that was hatched by Tanya and Rick Allen, it's been remarkably successful. I think it's just a wonderful example of the community of how nonprofits can work together.
She's not just the director of a nonprofit though, she's a savvy businesswoman, and she understands the importance of working closely with the community and making sure the museum is part of the hearts and minds of the community.
Our next woman of influence is Rachael Costner, the CEO of Women's Resource and Marketing Director for Medical Imaging Northwest.
My best role models are my parents, my mom and my dad. My father was owned his own business his whole life. He was an architect. And my mom just was a super hard worker, and she also owned her own business. I think I came from a company of people who own their own business. So no matter what I do, if I'm owning my own company or I'm working for somebody, I will take ownership of it. I'll have fun with it. And I've learned I don't have to do it all by myself. And I think that's what I want other women to know, is you don't have to do it all by yourself. You can seek help or ask for advice, you can get involved. And so I did that. And I brought 10 women that have been coming to our events, and I used them to help keep me accountable. And then this year we started a mentorship and entrepreneurial program. And that's what I'm really excited about. Every year something new comes along. What can I bring as a woman in business back to other women in business? And how can they learn from things that we've kind of learned along the way? My saying is, I know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and to me that is very powerful. So women come to our group, to connect, find business, get new connections, but I tell people you need to be a part of it to build the relationship, because you can't do business with people you don't trust. I think my biggest achievement is the one that's coming. That's my biggest achievement. And I'm really excited about the M&E Award, which is the Mentorship and Entrepreneurial Award. The other achievements, I think, are giving back to the community, bringing people together, and us helping some of the nonprofits we've helped in the past. I think that I just really want people to feel that what women are doing in the community, they make a difference. And I want women to feel supported, and I want women to be taken serious. So maybe if you're a woman of influence, people will ask your story and you can tell them about it, and then maybe people can learn from what I've done. And maybe I can be a good listener for them as well.
I met Rachael probably about 12 years ago, and I think she's remarkable because she has a wonderful way of pulling women together. Basically, it's for her small business programs, and that's how I met her, is when I previously worked for the Small Business Administration, and I was putting on women events, and I knew that Rachael was the go-to person in Pierce County to help with that. And she is so wonderful and remarkable, partly because if she doesn't know the answer, she finds somebody who does. So she never leaves you out there on a limb with not having the resource that you need. She finds somebody, and if that person doesn't work, they find somebody. So it's wonderful.
Our next woman of influence is Maureen Fife, CEO of the Habitat for Humanity.
I was really blessed to have very strong women in my life. My mother is probably the biggest influence on my life. I was 5 years old when my father passed away, and she was a Catholic school teacher at the time. I think she made $150 a month. Her attitude was that you can do anything you set your mind to. So she really helped me see that any problem could be handled with hard work, grace, and a sense of humor. When I was in college, I really thought that I was going to be a hard-charging businesswoman, the queen of IBM. And then when the Habitat for Humanity opportunity came, I just jumped at it because it's such a feel-good mission to help people achieve their dreams every day. I mean, there's not a better way to spend your time. Everyone is there out of sense of mission. I have the most creative and dedicated staff that it's my honor to work with. You don't have to turn very far before you see great women in positions of leadership in this town, and they're so gracious to take your phone call, answer your questions, help if they can. Tacoma and Pierce County is actually a large place, but it's a small town feel. And it's small town in that everybody knows everybody else. This is a 2 degrees of separation kind of community. So keep your integrity. It's really what you have to offer. Do what you say you're gonna do. Be trustworthy and honest with people. Whatever you're gonna do, if you don't want it on the front page of the local paper, don't do it. When you're looking for love, it doesn't come. It's when you're not looking that it comes. And I think sometimes that's the way about awards or accolades as well. You know, you keep your head down, you keep doing the good work. You kind of hope somebody notices, but you're doing the good work, and that's really what matters. If somebody notices, you know, that's a bonus.
I became board of director for the Habitat for Humanity chapter in late 2011, and the growth and the changes in the organization that have come from Maureen's direction has been phenomenal. In my opinion, she operates the Tacoma-Pierce County chapter as well as, if not better than, a lot of for-profit companies or organizations that I know of. She is very well organized. She's hired some really, really talented people, valuable people that have helped the organization grow. With her contacts and her influence and her great relationships that she's developed over the years, she's been able to bring that to the Tacoma-Pierce County chapter, Habitat for Humanity, and really made that chapter one of the largest and most successful in the state.
We have 4 more women of influence to introduce, but first, here's a message from our sponsor, Puget Sound Energy.
For more than 12 years, Providence St. Peter Hospital has been partnering with PSE's Energy Efficiency Program. As a result, in the past year, we've been able to save over $700,000 on our utility bill.
What PSE is doing by investing in renewable energy and wind farms is really an investment in the future.
We're in the community and on call for our customers day or night.
PSE is working hard to provide me and my family with dependable service.
Today on South Sound Business Report, we're introducing women of influence who were honored recently at a special ceremony held at Clover Park Technical College in Lakewood. Here's the video introduction of our next honoree, Dyann Lyon, whose passion centers around health.
I had the idea in 2009 to share the warning signs of heart disease with people because I lost a husband to heart disease at an early age and didn't know the warning signs of heart disease, so there was nothing I could do to help him because I didn't see that coming. And it just seemed that if I could share that with other people, maybe that would save lives. And in contacting the Heart Association to see if they could give me some literature that I could hand out about the warning signs, they said, you know, Dyann, that's a Go Red for Women ambassador program that you're talking about. How would you like to lead that? I help people focus on their health and wellness and coach them, facilitate whatever it is for them that they need in their life that's going to make them feel better, have more energy, release weight that they may want to release, and just feel generally healthier and be healthier. As a recipient of the Women of Influence Award, I would hope that what it would do is shine a light on personal responsibility for our own health and to cause people to really take a look at their lives and realize that it's up to us individually to take care of ourselves, because most of the things that people are dying from, like Heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes are largely preventable. For young women entering the workforce, the thing that I would like to share is to look at having a home-based business. Even if you're working outside the home, by creating something that you're doing for yourself on the side, you don't have to worry about whether your company is going to go out of business, whether the people that you're working for are suddenly going to want to replace you. It gives you just so much more freedom and power. I am so honored to be amongst all the current award winners, all the past award winners, and I think of all the women I know and women I have yet to meet who will be wonderful recipients or at least nominees of this award in the future. So it's been a real honor, and I feel like I'm in excellent company.
She's a person to be loved. She has a very good heart. Her thoughts are good, her actions are good, and she has, what can I say, she has stick-to-itiveness. If she gets onto a project, she stays with it until she becomes successful with it. She got interested in health, and she's gone into it very seriously and in different avenues, and her message is she wants to help people feel better and be healthier, and that's it. And so she's been with the company now for 10 years, and evidently it's working because people come back. They come back to her, and she herself is a drawing power. She's warm, friendly, loving, very easy to like.
Our next woman of influence represents the military community that is critical to the South Sound. Jasmin Shackelford is an enlisted member assigned to the U.S.S. Nimitz.
I've got a granduncle who was a mechanic for the Tuskegee Airmen. I have a grandfather who was drafted into World War II before he finished his high school diploma. I've got this father who's from an inner city neighborhood. He finished his first tour enlisted. He's like, I'm not going back unless I get a commission. And so he went back, got his commission, and he retired 33 years later. As a kid, I knew that I just wanted to help. I didn't care where, I didn't care what. When I became a Girl Scout, I knew that I was going to be involved in the community somehow. I was just going to help. One of the things that I do that I'm really heavily involved with and very, very passionate about is sexual assault prevention and response. I'm one of the lead advocates on the U.S.S. Nimitz for that. I'm not the only one, but I'm one of the busiest advocates on the ship. I work for two wonderful chiefs, and they have helped resurrect that program so that we're able to assist any service members in need of support following sexual assault. A lot of times you'll get an assignment or you'll get a position because you were willing to do it, more so than because you were a male or female or you did anything better than anyone else. You were willing to get in there and do it. I've been heavily into supporting breast cancer. My aunt died of it in 1996, the year I graduated from high school. Well, we got to the Seattle area in 2010, and they do this wonderful Susan G. Komen 5K. And so what I did was I organized a team from the ship, and we go down there and we had a great time. I feel like I've accomplished something. Once the junior personnel underneath me, they get advanced, and now they've achieved a higher rank. And now I'm going to be competing with them for my job. That's okay. I'll train my replacement. That's what I'm supposed to do. I just honestly want you guys to know that I am so honored that somebody somewhere thought highly enough of me to nominate me for this, and I'm really grateful.
The military award for the Women of Influence, I think, is very important, not only nationally, but specifically here in the Pacific Northwest, where we have a very, very robust military presence. And this is a Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines opportunity for women to excel, and also not only to excel in the military, but excel in the community, where they're bringing their experiences and talents to the community and serving both ways, both for our nation as in the military, but also as citizens in the community.
We have just one more honoree. She is the Lifetime Achievement recipient, Neel Parikh. For the last 18 years, she has been the Executive Director of Pierce County Library System, the fourth largest such in the state of Washington.
When I just turned 30, the library I was working in then, it was my very first management job. The Board of Supervisors decided to close it down. And I had been a manager for 6 months and I lost my job. What I really learned from that was that you should not take the library for granted. Every one of us who are in the library every day have to be very clear with people about where this funding is coming from, and also make it something that is of value to them so that they want to keep it. It's important to me that when I say to a city council, I am going to provide you this service, or the library will provide you this service, that we deliver on it. The thing we're facing is, how do we change? How do we create an infrastructure that supports the core mission of the library, but also can be agile and change to meet the changes in the industry or in technology? If we go in and we think, like you graduate from college, you think I know it all, you've made a mistake, because you really have to pay attention to what is around you, what is going on in the community, what is going on in the environment you're working in, and learn the skills or the techniques that, or the even new industry standards. Before we opened the Fife Library, we decided that we wanted to kind of prepare the community for the library because they didn't have one there. So we took bookmobile to some of the apartments and we got to know the kids. They got to check out books and stuff like that. It was so heartwarming to see these families with all their children come into the library and be so excited to be there, you know, with their huge bundles of books. I think that the library is an amazing public service because people can come in and explore or change their lives or get help or even just sit there and feel safe and comfortable and know that there are people there who care about them.
Neel is compassionate, caring, understanding, and demanding. And she has demanded from all of us that we continue to make Pierce County a better place to live, work, and play. One of the biggest programs of the Pierce County Library has been there In Our Own Words, which has a new name now, but it engaged middle and high school students in writing, creative writing, poetry, and prose, and handing out a number of awards and then giving those award winners an opportunity to present their work to community members in a public forum. Our Pierce County Library system has done an amazing job of transcending boundaries, and I think one of her lasting legacies will be the fact that she was able to bring Pierce County Reads to the entire community. And in my view, if Neel had one thing that she could say to everyone, she would say, read, Pierce County.
And that's our look at 2012 Women of Influence. If you know someone that we ought to recognize in the future, go to businessexaminer.com/events and tell us about them. We want to thank Puget Sound Energy for its long-term sponsorship of South Sound Business Report, and also thank Richard Aronson of Mobility Media Design for his assistance in production of this program. We'll be back again next week at the same time on this same channel, and hope you'll join us again for South Sound Business Report.
The Olympia Farmers Market. You can just taste the excitement. The best seafood, the freshest produce, organic meats and savory cheeses, the most delicious baked breads, the prettiest plants and flowers, and the finest handcrafted gifts from all over the South Sound. Listen to the great sounds at the covered Farmers Market stage and picnic area. Meet old friends and enjoy the festive atmosphere you can only find at the Olympia Farmers Market. Thursday through Sunday, 10 to 3. The Olympia Farmers Market at the foot of Capitol Way in downtown Olympia.
For more than 12 years, Providence St. Peter Hospital has been partnering with PSE's Energy Efficiency Program. As a result, in the past year, we've been able to save over $700,000 on our utility bill.
What PSE is doing by investing in renewable energy and wind farms is really an investment in the future.
We're in the community and on call for our customers day or night.
PSE is working hard to provide me and my family with dependable service.